Hey guys, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So, I am getting ready to start some seeds. I am finally getting around to starting my peppers. You just saw me using my soil blocking tool. You can kind of see the blocks right there. This is how I generally start any seed that I don't direct sow in the garden. If I start it indoors, I start it with these little blocks. There's no waste because there's no cells or anything like that. These trays I use over and over and over again. You can get these at garden centers, all over the place, Amazon, all of that. They're just standard starter trays, nursery trays. And like I said, I just use my soil blocking tool. I have a video where I explain exactly how I use that and all of that. I will put a link to that down below. So I am starting peppers, finally. I meant to do this last week, I just didn't get around to it. Had some writing deadlines that I'd kind of forgotten about, and so I had to take care of all of those articles I had to write. But that's okay because peppers don't like cold weather. They like the heat. So if they don't get started right away, it is not the end of the world. They like our hot summers here in Alabama. So I am going to go through here and I'm going to plant my seeds and I'm going to share with you which peppers I'm going to grow this year. Now I generally like to do about 10 different varieties of peppers. And basically it's the number of varieties I'm going to put in a tray because I have 10 rows of blocks here. Usually what I do is I put 2 seeds in each block. That way if I have some low germination, I've got a better chance of getting peppers. And often, just like the tomatoes, I end up with way more pepper plants than I actually need. But that's okay. I've got plants to share with my friends and such. So let me kind of sort these. I'm going to put the hot and the not hot together. And actually most of them I think this year, well, I'm growing a few. Do I have more than 10 out here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I accidentally grabbed 11 packets. So now I need to figure out which ones. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11. Alright, well, let me just start with the ones I know for certain that I'm going to grow. So this one is a new one for me, Buena Mulata. It says these are an historic variety from an African-American folk artist named Horace Pippin. The chameleon-like pepper goes from violet to a pinkish flesh, then orange to brown, then deep red, long round pods. So it sounds a lot like the Chinese 5-color peppers, except these are long and very similar to a cayenne pepper. So we shall see. So let me get these started. And again, I'm just going to put 2 per block. So when you use the soil blocking tool, it creates like a little dimple right in the middle of the block, which is where you just drop your seeds down into. And then after I get all of the seeds in there, then I just kind of take my fingers and just press the soil together and sort of close it in over that little dimple. I need one more. Oh, and you know what? I do not have my labels. So here's what I will do. I will set my seed packet over here in order, and then I will come back and put my labels after I get these done, because they are around the corner of the house. Alright, next one I'm going to do this year. This is one I grew 2 years ago, and it grew really well. When you get seeds from Baker Creek, if they are a variety that does not have a really good germination rate, they will often send you a lot of extra seeds just to kind of make up for that. And these were the Sugar Rush Peach peppers. They're kind of a hot pepper. And this is one of those, and they put a little label on the front, and it says overpacked due to low germination rate. But I will tell you that when I grew them from this very packet, year before last, I had an excellent germination rate. So I think I had gone overboard and put like 3 or 4 seeds in every block, and I had plants galore. So now these seeds are a little bit older, and a lot of times when you use older seeds, you do have a decrease in your germination, but I'm still going to go ahead and put like 3 seeds in each block here, just because, you know, they were low germination, the seeds are older, and all of that. So now this is the pepper. Mr. Smith actually tried it on camera, and he was afraid it was going to be insanely hot. And I've got a video clip of him with him taking that bite and like making a scared face in the process. But then he realized it wasn't actually that spicy, but it was also kind of early in the season, I think. And so maybe it hadn't quite developed the heat. But these have kind of a sweet heat. They are considered a hot pepper, but they're kind of a sweet hot pepper. All right, so moving on to, oh, I see what I did wrong. I got 2 different of the same thing here. That's what messed me up. All right, so cayenne peppers. I don't think I actually grew cayenne peppers last year, but I'm running low on my hot peppers, my cayenne pepper that I use for cooking. So I'm going to grow some of the long, slim cayenne peppers, and I got these seeds from Haas Tools, just classic cayenne pepper. And then, let's see, actually I will do, well, I'll save this row for last. I'll get to that in a minute. Alright, jalapenos, classic jalapenos. These ones are the Craig's Grande jalapeno peppers. Last year I grew Tam's jalapenos. Those again grew fantastic. These are the ones I grew the year before. To be honest, there really wasn't much of a difference between the two, although I think these might have been a little bit bigger. It was easier to use these when I made my stuffed jalapeno poppers. Maple glazed, grilled, stuffed jalapeno poppers. Ridiculous. So good. And of course that recipe is on my website. I will put a link to that down below. Because they are stuffed, you kind of want bigger jalapenos, and I think these were a little bit easier to stuff, and so that's why I'm going to grow these ones again this year. Now the Tams were abundant. There were tons of them, but they just weren't as big, and yeah, so that's why I'm going with these this year. They were a little bit harder to stuff to make my poppers. And then right along with the jalapenos, this is a new one for me, although I've seen it around for years. They are just like jalapenos, except they're not spicy, and these are called nada peños. So you got the jalapeno flavor without the heat. So I decided to grow some of these this year and see what we think of them. And then bell peppers. We eat a lot of bell peppers, and so I am going to grow 2 varieties of bells this year. This is not a new one for me, the lilac bell pepper. These seeds again are from Baker Creek. Alright, and then the other variety of bell peppers I'm going to grow this year. This is a new one for me, but I'm sure it's just a classic bell pepper. These are the Touchdown bell peppers from Haas Tools. So now, as you've seen, I get a lot of my seeds from Baker Creek, but There's many different places that you can get garden seeds, and I'm going to film a video later on this week and share this, well, and share my thoughts about where you might want to get seeds. Okay? So be on the lookout for that video. Now these, it says, they're a unique deep red star-shaped fruit of variable heat, yet juicy and often quite sweet. So I don't know if these are actually hot or if they are sweet, but they're cool looking, and so I wanted to grow them. And they are the Brazilian starfish peppers. Check those things out. Ooh, there's not very many seeds in this packet. 10. All right. Well, which they've actually sent more than 10. I have 13 here. So, no, 14 here. So I'm going to take my 4 extras and I'm going to put them back here in my packet. Oh no, 5 extras. So, packet of 10, they sent 15. So there's certain peppers I grow every year, like jalapeno and bell peppers of some variety, but I do like to change it up and do things a little bit fun, like the starfish pepper. I just enjoy having a little bit of variety. These are ones that I grew year before last. They grew really well. They taste almost identical to a bell pepper, kind of sweet, thick-walled, and when I grew them year before last, they were very prolific, and that was the lipstick peppers. They're not as big as a bell pepper, but they had some good size to them and were quite tasty. One of the peppers I'm not growing this year, and I did a video where I talked about the ones I wasn't going to grow again, was the jigsaw pepper, and I actually have a whole nother packet of seeds in there unopened of those. Beautiful plants with purple and white and green tricolored foliage, but they just didn't grow real great, and the peppers are so tiny that, I don't know, great ornamental, I think, like for a pot on your porch, but not necessarily something I would want to grow again if I'm growing for food. So now my last row here, I am actually just going to grow 2 blocks of one kind and 3 blocks of the other. The first 2 blocks I'm going to do some Chinese 5-color because I love these peppers. These are beautiful peppers, wonderful color for your garden, and they are prolific. They are very similar in heat to a cayenne pepper, and so if you don't get a lot of cayennes, you can just use these instead. I have used these for making Mr. Smith's favorite pickles on the planet, and these are the peppers that I use for that. And I think I have that recipe on my website for those pickles. I will put that in a link down below as well. Let me try and do this without spilling seeds everywhere. Alright. And then the last 3 little squares I have here, even though I usually only do 10 varieties, since I accidentally brought out an extra packet, I'm just going to go ahead and grow some of these as well. And that is the Lushauer paprika, which is your wonderful paprika powder that you use when you're cooking in the kitchen. I grew 2 different types of paprika last year, the Alma paprika and then this Lushauer. The Alma one did okay. I mean, the peppers were beautiful, but there just wasn't very many of them. And so I'm going to do the Lushauer because the Lushauer grew excellent. I got tons of these. To be quite honest, I probably wouldn't even need to grow them this year because I've got so much dried paprika in the house. But I don't know, it's always nice to have fresh paprika. I'm just saying. Okay, so those are the pepper varieties that I'm going to grow this year. So now that I got all of my cells filled, I'll just go ahead, pinch the soil together and just kind of cover the seeds up a little bit, just like that. Not too deep, just enough so that they don't dry out. And again, this is how I start all of my seeds. I don't care if they're tomatoes or herbs. I do them the exact same way with my soil blocking tool and my seed trays. And if it is something that gets started indoors, this is the method I do it with. Okay, so I've got my pepper seeds, my tray here on my growing shelf. I've got my lights here. They're not on yet, of course, because the seeds haven't germinated. I do have my warming mat down here though to warm up the soil, get it nice and toasty, because again, peppers like heat. If you warm your tray with one of these grow mats, heating mats, you get a much higher rate of germination. Like I said with the peach peppers, even though they had a low germination rate, I had excellent germination with them the last time I grew them. And I really believe that using the heating mats has a lot to do with that. And this room where I have this set up is my bedroom. And I had a couple people wondering why on earth I would grow stuff in my bedroom like this. Well, the lights get turned off at night. If the plants were outside growing in nature, there would be night and day out there, and there's night and day in here. So the seedlings really only need about 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, and so I just turn them off when I go to bed, and then I turn them back on in the morning. Not a big deal. We have a smaller home. We don't have a garage. We don't yet have a greenhouse. And so I have to grow things where I have the space to do them. And the corner of my bedroom right here is one of the few spots in my house that isn't always in use. And so this is what I do. This is what works for me. And again, I just turn them off at night. Not a big deal. So that is my peppers, my pepper seeds. And I'm curious if any of you have grown the varieties that are new to me this year, or if you have a suggestion for a pepper variety that you think I ought to try. Let me know in the comments down below. So thanks for joining me with my pepper starting this year. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I will talk to y'all next time.